Why did the runner bring a ladder to the Boston Marathon? To finally get over Heartbreak Hill. Welcome, everyone. Today, we're diving into the world of racing, specifically the Boston Marathon, one of the most prestigious foot races in the world. Now, if you're a runner, racing Boston is probably on your bucket list. And why wouldn't it be? It's the world's oldest annual marathon, dating all the way back to the year of 1897. Let's take a quick jog down memory lane. Inspired by the success of the first modern-day marathon at the 1896 Olympics, the Boston Marathon was born. The Boston Athletic Association, or the BAA, hosted the inaugural event with just 15 participants. Fast forward to now, the event has grown exponentially, drawing participants and spectators from around the globe. But what makes the Boston Marathon so special? Well, apart from its rich history, it's the spirit of the event that sets it apart. It's more than just a race, it's a celebration of resilience, of human spirit, and of the bond that ties us all together. Running Boston isn't just about speed, it's about endurance, determination, and the will to keep going, even when your legs feel like they're made of lead. It's about the roar of the crowd as you make your way down Boylston Street towards the finish line, the sense of accomplishment as you cross it, and the camaraderie among runners. But don't be fooled. The Boston Marathon is not for the faint of heart. It's a challenging course, with the infamous Heartbreak Hill waiting to test your mettle around mile 20. It's a race that demands respect both for the course and for the history it represents. So, are you ready to lace up your shoes, pin on your bib, and take your place at the start line alongside some of the best runners in the world? Are you ready to create your own history on the streets of Boston to become part of the legacy that is the Boston Marathon? So, think you're ready to take on the Boston race? Stick around, we might just help you decide. Ever heard of the saying, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey? Well, in Boston, it's definitely about both. Let's dive into the heart of the Boston Marathon, its Unforgiving Route. This journey starts at the quaint town of Hopkinton. From there, you'll be running east towards Boston along a course that's been the same for more than a century. The first few miles may seem easy, with a gentle downhill slope. But don't let that fool you. It's merely the calm before the storm. As you reach the midpoint, you'll pass the Wellesley College, known for the Scream Tunnel, a row of students cheering so loud you can hear them half a mile away. It's a much-needed morale boost before you face the real challenge, the Newton Hills. This series of 4 hills, ending with the infamous Heartbreak Hill, is where dreams are made or broken. Just when your legs are starting to feel heavy, you're hit with an uphill battle, literally. But, as any seasoned Boston runner will tell you, what goes up must come down. And the downhill stretch that follows is your reward for conquering Heartbreak Hill. But wait, the journey doesn't end there. With only a few miles to go, you'll pass the towering Citgo sign, a beacon indicating that the finish line is near. The final stretch takes you down Boylston Street, where thousands of spectators will be cheering you on, their applause ringing in your ears as you cross the finish line. Running the Boston Marathon is like taking a tour through history and geography, all while pushing your physical limits. It's a route that demands respect, but also one that gives back in memories and experiences. It's tough, it's grueling, but it's also incredibly rewarding. Remember, every uphill has a downhill, so brace yourself for a roller coaster ride. To run Boston, you need to qualify. It's like the Harvard of marathons, only sweatier. Now you might be wondering, how do I qualify for such a prestigious race? Well, it's not as simple as just lacing up your shoes and hitting the pavement. There are specific qualifying times you need to meet, and these times are based on your age and gender. Let's break it down. If you're a woman between the ages of 18 and 34, you'll need a time of 3 hours and 30 minutes in a previous marathon. For men in the same age group, it's 3 hours. And as you might expect, these times get a bit more generous as you age. For instance, women 70 and older need a time of 5 hours and 20 minutes, while men need 4 hours and 55 minutes. But it's not just about the time. The race you run to qualify also matters. It needs to be a certified marathon, and it needs to have been run within the past year and a half. So if you ran a super fast marathon 3 years ago, I hate to break it to you, but that's not going to cut it. You need a fresh race record, a testament to your current running prowess. Now you might be thinking, wow, that's tough. And you're right, it is. But remember, Boston is the big leagues. It's not for the faint of heart or the weak of knees. It's for runners who are ready to push their limits, who are ready to sweat, struggle, and ultimately succeed. So if you're up for the challenge, start training. Find a certified marathon near you, lace up your shoes and hit the pavement. Keep that Boston qualifying time in mind as you run. Push yourself, but also remember to listen to your body. After all, you can't run Boston if you're injured. And most importantly, don't get discouraged. It might take time, it might take multiple races. But just keep running. Because as they say, Rome wasn't built in a day and neither is a Boston qualifying time. Training for Boston is like preparing for a date with a Spartan warrior, only less romantic. When it comes to training for the Boston Marathon, you need to be as strategic as a chess player and as relentless as a honey badger. It's not just about logging miles, it's about understanding the unique challenges of the race and preparing your body and mind to conquer them. Let's start with the training plans. There's no one-size-fits-all here. You need to choose a plan that complements your strengths, bolsters your weaknesses, and fits into your life. Some runners might do best with a high-mileage plan, while others might need a more balanced approach. But whatever plan you choose, remember this: consistency is key. You can't cram for a marathon. It's a slow, steady build of endurance, strength, and mental toughness. Now let's talk about hills. If the Boston Marathon were a movie, Heartbreak Hill would be the villain. It's a half-mile climb that comes at a point in the race when many runners are hitting the wall. So, hill training is a must. Incorporate hill repeats into your weekly routine to build strength and confidence. It's like doing squats, but with scenery. And then there's the weather. Boston in April can be a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. It could be sunny and warm, it could be cold and rainy, or it could be somewhere in between. So, train in all weather conditions, get comfortable being uncomfortable. It's not just about physical preparation, it's about mental resilience. Remember, training for Boston isn't just about crossing the finish line. It's about embracing the journey, the challenge, and the community. It's about pushing your limits and discovering what you're truly capable of. So, train hard, train smart, and most importantly, train to conquer those hills. On race day, remember this golden rule: start slow, then taper off. Race day has a magic of its own. It's the day when all your training and preparation come to fruition. It's the day when you put your best foot forward. But it's also a day that can be full of surprises, so here are some tips to help you navigate through. First off, pacing. It's easy to get caught up in the adrenaline rush at the starting line, but resist the urge to sprint ahead. Instead, go slow at the start. Let your body warm up and get into the rhythm. Remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And that brings us to our golden rule: start slow, then taper off. As the race progresses, you can increase your speed gradually, but never push beyond your limit. Next up, hydration. It's crucial to stay hydrated throughout the race. But here's the catch: you don't want to overdo it either. So take small sips at regular intervals. Most races have water stations along the route. Use them, but don't feel compelled to gulp down water at every stop. Listen to your body, it knows what it needs. Lastly, let's talk about the crowd. The cheering crowd can be a great source of motivation. It can give you that extra push when your legs are screaming for a break, but don't let it distract you from your race. Stay focused on your pace and your breathing. Remember, the crowd is there to support you, not to steer you. These are just a few tips to help you on race day. Every runner is unique, and what works for one may not work for another. So, experiment during your training runs and find what works best for you. So, keep calm, stay focused, and remember, the crowd's cheering for you. Crossing the finish line is just the beginning of another journey: recovery. You've pushed your body to its limits, and now it's time to lavish it with some well-deserved TLC. Post-race recovery is just as crucial as the training leading up to the race. It's the phase where your body repairs the wear and tear from the intense physical exertion, replenishes energy stores, and ultimately gets stronger. Neglecting this could lead to injuries, decreased performance, or prolonged fatigue. Now let's talk about some post-race recovery tips. First and foremost, hydrate. Your body loses a significant amount of fluids during the race, and replenishing these is essential. Water is your best friend here, but don't shy away from sports drinks with electrolytes. Next, refuel with a balanced meal. Your body needs protein to repair muscles and carbohydrates to restore glycogen stores. And let's not forget fruits and veggies for their antioxidants and essential nutrients. Active recovery is another key element. Gentle movements such as walking or light stretching can help reduce stiffness and promote blood flow. But remember, it's not about pushing your body further. It's about aiding the healing process. Rest is non-negotiable in recovery. This isn't just about getting a good night's sleep, although that is crucial. It's also about giving your body a break from intense physical activity. Listen to your body and give it the rest it needs. Of course, recovery isn't all about refueling and resting, it's also a time to celebrate your achievement. You've just completed the Boston Marathon, that's no small feat, so go ahead, indulge in that post-race feast, share your accomplishment with loved ones, and bask in the glory of your achievement. And finally, remember to take a moment to reflect. What went well? What could be improved? Each race is a learning experience, and reflecting on it can help you prepare for future races. After all, what's a race without a post-race feast and a good nap? So go ahead, celebrate your achievement, and then give your body the rest and recovery it deserves. You've earned it. So, think you're ready to run Boston? Let's reassess. Boston isn't just any race, it's a marathon that requires a level of commitment, both physical and mental, that goes beyond normal expectations. It's a race that asks you to dig deep, to push through, to conquer not just the miles, but also the self-doubts and fears. Let's take a quick jog through memory lane. We've discussed the unforgiving route, the qualifying times, the training regimen, race day tips, and post-race recovery. Each of these points is a crucial part of the Boston Marathon journey, and each comes with its own set of challenges. The route, with its grueling heartbreak hill, asks you to climb when your legs are screaming for you to stop. The qualifying times demand a level of speed and endurance that many find intimidating. The training regimen calls for months of dedication, discipline, and sacrifice. Race day itself requires strategic planning and execution, and post-race recovery is all about patience and self-care. And yet the question remains, are you really ready? Being ready for Boston is not just about logging miles and building endurance. It's not just about speed workouts and tempo runs. It's about having the mental toughness to persevere when the going gets tough, when your body is begging you to quit, when every fiber of your being is screaming for relief. It's about visualizing yourself crossing that finish line, no matter how far away it seems. It's about believing in your ability to conquer Heartbreak Hill, to push through the fatigue, to endure the pain. It's about having the courage to face your fears, to challenge your limits, to embrace the journey with all its ups and downs. It's about having the heart of a Boston marathoner. So are you really ready? Can you commit to the journey, embrace the challenges, and rise above the obstacles? Can you dig deep, push through, and conquer your fears? Remember, it's not just about being physically ready, but mentally prepared as well. So there you have it, folks, the Boston Marathon in a nutshell. From the unforgiving route to the qualifying standards, we've covered it all. We've talked about the importance of training, not just physically, but mentally too. We've shared tips for race day and how to recover afterward. But remember, the Boston Marathon isn't just a race, it's a journey. Each step of the process, from qualifying to crossing the finish line, is part of the adventure. It's not just about speed, it's about endurance, determination, and the will to keep going even when the road gets tough. So, are you ready to embark on this journey? Are you ready to race Boston? It's a question only you can answer. If you feel that you are, then lace up those running shoes and start training. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with your fellow runners, and hit that subscribe button for more running content. Keep running, and see you at the finish line.